Roundtable presented by Harry Blackwell Ford and Dodge in Malden. Glad you joined us. We're in the thick of the spring sports season, and before you know it, this school year is going to be over, and we're going to be looking forward to the fall over the summer. But still some time left. We got about probably 4 weeks left in the spring sports season, but probably a little longer when you include potential state tournament or state competitions for the various spring sports, but a little bit of time left getting into some conference tournaments that we've seen this week, especially in baseball and softball, and really starting to make news with the spring too when it comes to football and basketball hirings. We got some big news this week to report on for high school basketball and a local hiring, so quite a bit going on here in the last few weeks here in southeast Missouri. So we'll be rolling into it now. But first, starting off with the sports results over the last few days, starting with yesterday up in Notre Dame at the Notre Dame, basically Notre Dame, not one of the tournament, basically Notre Dame Baseball Classic up in Cape Girardeau. Triad of Illinois defeated Notre Dame by a score of 5-4. Notre Dame had a very good team once again this year, just falling to that Illinois team yesterday. And Dexter had a tough one yesterday as they went against top state-ranked Valley Catholic. Took a loss to them 12-1. But pretty good team there with Valley Catholic once again this year. And in other games from the area yesterday, taking a look, Chaffee over East Prairie in a shutout 4-0. Also, we have Greenville over Doniphan in a close one 5-4. And Poplar Bluff over Twin Rivers big 10-0. And Poplar Bluff rolls over the Twin Rivers Royals. Also Bell City over Bernie. That was Thursday in the Stoddard County Tournament Championship. Bell City defeating Bernie in Bernie 7-5. And Bernie beat Bell City earlier in the year. Bell City avenges that loss in the tournament championship on Thursday. But both of those teams set up well to play well in district play and potentially into state tournament play. Bell City, the defending Class 1 state champions, and also top ranked in Class 1. So two very good teams to look out for going forward there with Bell City and Bernie. And also softball results from yesterday. Scott City defeated East Prairie 15-0. No problem for the Scott City Lady Rams. Also from yesterday, we have Twin Rivers over New Madrid County Central 14-8. And also we have Crothersville over Charleston 12-2. And those are your softball results from yesterday, Friday. So getting to look at some very good teams here this spring, especially in the baseball ranks. And we got some teams that might make some noise come district and state tournament time here in the next few weeks. So it'll be worth watching later on as we cross over into May, heading down to the end of the spring sports season. And we're going to take our first break and be back with some baseball state rankings. We got those to report on coming up next.
We're Harry Blackwell Ford in Malden, Missouri.
Hello, my name is Tim Ellison. Come see me for the best deal possible. You'll be glad you did.
I'm Blake Miller, and I'm committed to your total satisfaction.
Shop with us at Harry Blackwell Ford in Malden.
Deposit your check here or here or even there. Deposit your check wherever you are with First Midwest Bank's new mobile deposit. Just tap, snap, deposit. It's that simple. New mobile deposit from First Midwest Bank, serving the communities we call home.
The area's fastest internet just got faster. Introducing 100 meg internet, now available from New Wave. With 100 meg, there's nothing you can't do. Browse better, stream more, power every device. This is lightning fast internet designed to fit your family's needs. It's brand new and it's the fastest game in town. Get 100 meg internet from New Wave, your local provider of the speed you need. Call 1-888-8-NEW-WAVE today.
And now let's take a look at some baseball state rankings for the state of Missouri, starting off with Class 1. It's the defending state champion, Bell City Cubs, and they've held that ranking for the last two polls, the preseason, and also I think it was the April 8th poll, and they're still on top at number 1. Number 2, New Franklin. 3, New Covenant. 4, Santa Fe. 5, Silex. 6, Walnut Grove. 7, Hurley. 8, Green City. 9, Oran. And 10, Pilot Grove. Moving on to Class 2. Top ranked is Valley Catholic. They're defending Class 2 state champions, and they've led off this year and sustaining that number 1 ranking. Number 2, Mid-Buchanan. 3, Greenville. 4, Galena. 5, the Bernie Mules. 6, Canton. 7, West Platte. 8, Lincoln. 9, Plato. And 10, Chaffee. Got quite a few local teams in there from Southeast Missouri in the Class 2 rankings. Valley Catholic, Greenville, Bernie, and Chaffee. And in Class 3, Stockton at number 1. 2, Conway. 3, Fatima. 4, Scott City. 5, Lutheran St. Charles. 6, Summit Christian. 7, Mountain Grove. 8, Caruthersville. 9, South Callaway. And 10, Forsyth. So a couple teams there with Scott City and Caruthersville. In Class 4, Westminster Academy at number 1. Notre Dame of Cape Girardeau there at number 2. 3, Boonville. 4, Manette. 5, Pacific. 6, Bolivar. 7, St. Joseph Lafayette. 8, Carl Junction. 9, Pleasant Hill. And 10, Aurora. And those are the Class 4 rankings with Cape Notre Dame there at number 2 locally. In Class 5, Staley at number 1. 2, Francis Howell. 3, Rockbridge. 4, Jefferson City. 5, Kickapoo. 6, Liberty. 7, Vianney. 8, Francis Howell North. 9, Summit. And 10, Lafayette. And those are your baseball rankings for this week. As you see there, as we talked about in the last segment, quite a few local teams there in the mix in the state rankings, and we might see a few of those teams make it into state tournament play here in about a month. So we'll be looking forward to see how that plays out with our local teams going forward. And we're going to take another break and be back with some big local stories that developed this week that we'll touch on in our next segment. We'll be right back.
You just can't do it anymore, but you want to stay in your own home. Bales is the place to call. Bales is committed to helping people like you to maintain your independence and live your life on your terms with dignity. Bales can help with your family getting paid for taking care of you. There is no need to live anywhere but our own home with Boot Heel Area Independent Living Services there to help. Just call 888-449-0949 or stop by 719 Tico Road in Kennett to find out more. Bales, Boot Heel Area Independent Living Services, serving Dunklin, New Madrid, Pemiscot, and Stoddard counties.
What is your emergency? Need assistance at County Road 61 and Highway 9. Help is on its way.
Clear! There's a better way to jumpstart your soil back to health. Apply Endzone to protect and increase nitrogen efficiency without killing bacteria. Apply Prevent to increase phosphorus availability and reduce fixation. Better yet, use them both to get more from your fertilizer investment and see higher potential yields. Ag Explorer, your prescription for healthy soil.
The competitive edge. It's the edge that sets you apart from your competition. Every business needs it. Now, every business can get it. Partner with Advanced Business Solutions and give your business the competitive edge. Advanced Business Solutions, delivered by New Wave, offers scalable fiber optic-based internet solutions to fit your needs. Now you can download without the wait on a network designed for you. Call Advanced Business Solutions and get the competitive edge for as low as $39.99 per month.
We're Harry Blackwell Ford in Malden, Missouri.
Hi, my name is Richard Clark. Come by and see me for the best deal possible and I'll take care of you.
Hey, I'm Robert Sandage and I've been here for 17 years helping people with their financing needs.
Shop with us at Harry Blackwell Ford in Malden.
And now let's take a look at some local stories that have developed in the past, over the past week. First, starting off with here in Dexter. Dexter's Chandler Young will sign with Freed-Hardeman University to play college baseball going forward, starting next year. And Chandler, one of the finer baseball players for the Dexter Bearcats this year, having a pretty good year. See him quite a bit in the stat box for the Bearcats, and he will sign this coming week with Freed-Hardeman University. And pretty neat story there with Chandler. His brother is already playing at Freed-Hardeman as a junior. Chase Young, if you can remember him, playing for the Bearcats in football, basketball, baseball, and quite a three-sport talent Chase was a few years back for Dexter. And he's redshirted a few years due to some medical issues. So he's only a junior at Freed-Hardeman. So next year, Chandler and his brother Chase will be on the same team there at Freed-Hardeman University. So actually, it's kind of a tie-in with a big family tie-in. Their dad, Marty Young, actually graduated from Freed-Hardeman years ago. So quite the legacy there with the Youngs and Freed-Hardeman University, and it only continues with Chandler Young going to be signing with the Freed-Hardeman Lions this week. So congratulations to Chandler and the Young family. Quite a talented bunch there with the Youngs, and being able to see them go and play at the next level in baseball, quite an achievement for both those brothers, but certainly pleasing for the family as well. So congratulations, Chandler. And moving on to continue to play baseball at the college level. And moving on to another big story this week, and going to high school basketball. Tuesday night, Lennies Mcferren was named the new Kennett Boys Basketball Coach for this upcoming year by the school board. And it's quite the shockwaves in the Boot Heel, as Kennett has hired Lennies Mcferren to head up the Kennett Indians basketball program. And Lennies Mcferren's been out of the loop here in southeast Missouri for quite some time. He has spent quite a few years down in Tennessee, I believe in Henry County, Tennessee, and Paris, Tennessee, as an administrator down there in Tennessee. So he's been out of the loop here in southeast Missouri for quite a few years. And I guess he's returning home here to southeast Missouri and probably looking for something to do. I can say that. Mcferren was my old coach, so I can have a little fun with him there. But he probably looks. It seems like he's in very good health. It looks like he's really still interested in the game, getting back on the sideline and getting back into basketball. He's been out of it for quite a few years. His last year coaching was 2006, but that was after about a 4-year layoff, as he last coached in 2001 for New Madrid County Central. He won 2 straight state titles, 2000, 2001 with New Madrid, then retired, stepped away from the game, and then he's remained as an administrator there with New Madrid, and then came back in 2006 for 1 year, and that was his only losing season he ever had there in 2006, as they struggled that year. But stepped away, went to administration down in Tennessee, or over in Tennessee, rather, and coming back to the mix here in 2016. So it's been 10 years since he's been on a sideline, and it's going to be a familiar face, but not here of recent. I know some people out there, who's this Lennies Mcferren? You might be thinking, but had a stellar career, really made his name there in Charleston, 7 state championships with the Charleston Blue Jays, going back from, I believe, the late 70s through the early 90s. Went to New Madrid and got 2 more state titles in 2000 and 2001 to round it out to an even 9 state championships. And coming back to southeast Missouri with the Kennett Indians. And I'll tell you, it's going to be a team to look out for. Kennett's lost a lot from this last year. A really senior-laden bunch were the Indians this past year. So going to be a younger group coming in, more inexperienced group. But that's one thing you can expect from a Lennies Mcferren team, a very aggressive team, especially on the defensive end. Create those turnovers into easy baskets, which, Kennett's kind of played that kind of game anyways with Jim Vaughn. Jim Vaughn really stressed the defense, and, Kennett's been one of the more aggressive defensive teams in the area, so you probably won't see a whole lot of difference comes to their style of play, but maybe a little different offensively, probably. Mcferren's more an up-paced tempo, but ball control, and not really a perimeter-oriented offense that Mcferren runs, whereas Jim Vaughn, a lot of their offense came from the perimeter. So that's probably the biggest difference you'll see in their offenses, where Mcferren really likes to penetrate, aggressive to the basket, dump it down to the big guys, and a good shot selection. Really pretty conservative offense, really ball control oriented offense. And Jim Vaughn was more spread it out, get the shooters open, looking for those 3-point shots. So that's probably the only thing you'll see different in their style of play. But defensively, both these kids are probably used to Vaughn really emphasizing the defense. So should be a good transition for those players with Lennies Mcferren coming back to Southeast Missouri with the Kennett Indians. It's just hard to grasp still that Lennies Mcferren's been gone for a while. He hasn't been around. He's been over in Tennessee, and you just don't hear anything of him because he's just not around. And then all of a sudden, he's just thrown back into the news as a head coach in high school basketball. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out going forward next year. And Kennett's moving down in class from Class 4, District 1. Very competitive there with Cape Central, Sykeston, Notre Dame. Very tough district coming back down to Class 3, District 1. They'll likely be in there with Crothersville, New Madrid, Malden, probably right there in that district. You might see one of those teams kick out and go to another district possibly, but it's going to be fun to see how these Kennett Indians do. They're going to be back. I believe they're going to be back in the Boot Hill Conference as well. I think I may have come across that. They'll be out of the SEMO Conference and into the Boot Hill Conference. So if that is the case, you're going to see Kennett back in there with Hayti, Malden, South Pemiscot, Crothersville. Crothersville had a really good team, and they're going to bring back much of that team next year. So you'll see Kennett and Crothersville right there in the Boot Hill Conference, and also probably in the district as well. But you throw South Pemiscot, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with there in the Boot Hill Conference as well. And Hayti is really bringing back a strong group. So that Boot Hill Conference, if in fact Kennett's moving back to the Boot Hill Conference, is going to be very competitive next year, and that district will be very competitive as well there in Class 3, District 1, which it always is. It's always probably one of the more competitive districts in the state of Missouri. So big news, Lennies Mcferren coming back to Southeast Missouri, and he's going to get a lot of attention. The Canadian's going to get a lot of attention just with him being on the sideline. So we'll see how it plays out. I can remember talking to Mcferren back in 2006 when he came back that one year, and he said he was pretty rusty after just being off 4 years. So I'm sure he's anxious to get back on the sidelines and get back into the game, and been out of it for 10 years. So he's probably getting that itch, and he's only going to be in a coaching capacity. He's not going to be a member of the faculty there at Kennett. So he'll have plenty of time to concentrate on the basketball. So we'll see how it goes with the Kennett Indians and their basketball program going forward. And moving on to some other stories in the area, Sykeston has some big news from their programs this week, as the Standard Democrat has named Taisha Mitchell and Fred Thatch for the girls and boys teams as Players of the Year from the Standard Democrat newspaper. So no surprise there. Taisha Mitchell, one of the top girls players in the area this year in high school basketball, and Fred Thatch, only as a sophomore, probably the best player in Southeast Missouri this year, only as a sophomore, and it's just unbelievable that he's got 2 years left. And he's made big waves going back to last year as a freshman, even improved this year as a sophomore. Well, the future's bright for this kid, Fred Thatch in Sykeston. So congratulations to Mitchell and Thatch being named Players of the Year from the Standard Democrat newspaper. And moving on to that's the only stories we have from the area this week. A pretty busy week. Big stories hitting all sports, it seems like, this week. So quite a bit of news breaking from the area in high school athletics. So I always like to see that. Spring's kind of, you got your spring sports. Also, you got these school board meetings appointing new coaches for football, basketball. So it can make some waves in the spring concerning the fall and winter sports as well. So I always look forward to seeing how it mixes up. A lot of turnover we see in coaching these days, and see a lot of musical chairs, it seems like, coaches moving around and whatnot. So exciting to see how it all shook up from this spring. And we're going to take one more break and be back with a little NBA playoff recap and preview of what's coming up, and also Cardinals recap coming up.
Welcome to NFL Total Access,
the show that takes you inside the locker room and down on the field. With inside access to all 32 teams all year long. NFL Total Access, Monday through Saturday, only on NFL Network.
NFL Network, where football season never ends.
NFL Red Zone, the channel that brings you every touchdown from every game on Sunday afternoons. Watch the most exciting moments like never before, live in HD. Every touchdown from every game, live on one channel, NFL Red Zone.
And now we're going to take a look at some Major League Baseball recap concerning the St. Louis Cardinals. They're in a 3-game series that began last night with the San Diego Padres, and they took that loss last night 4-1. But we had to stay up late for that one. Well, I was up around 9 o'clock or so, and it was only in the first inning. Wow, I didn't stay up for that one. But the Cardinals took the loss, and they are at 8-8 on the year, I believe it is, and enter into that second game of the series today, Saturday, and it's at 7:40 this evening, and be sure to catch that on Fox Sports Midwest. So the Cardinals in third place right now after Friday's games, and they're 4.5 games back of the Cubs, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are just ahead of them at 4 games back. So Cardinals a little rough out of the gate here, but hopefully they can settle in. You know, the Cubs have gotten off to the start everyone expected them to have, but hopefully it'll start to even out as the season progresses here, but we're still only in the first month. A lot of games to play, so can't hit that panic button yet. But hopefully the Cardinals can start to put a run together for the end of this month. And heading to the NBA, well into the first round, midway through the first round now, as last night, Friday, the Cavaliers defeated the Pistons. The Cavaliers, the top seed in the East, defeated the 8th seed Pistons 101-91. They lead that series 3-0. Game 4 will be likely Sunday there in Detroit. Chance to close out that series this weekend. Also, the Hawks and the Celtics. Celtics fought off the Hawks and won 111-103. Big game from Isaiah Thomas, as he had a big game, 42 points from Isaiah Thomas for the Celtics. And that series is, Atlanta still leads that series 2-1. So a little bit to play in that series yet for the Hawks and the Celtics. Last night, the Spurs, the 2 seed in the West, defeated the Grizzlies, 7th seed. Friday night, 96-87. Spurs now lead that series 3-0 and have a chance to close out that series with another win in Memphis this weekend. And today's games, quite a few games, as we've got the Raptors, the 2 seed in the East, taking on the 7th seed Pacers at 2 o'clock this afternoon on TNT. Toronto leads that series 2-1. And also the Heat taking on the Hornets at 4:30 on TNT today, as the Heat lead that series 2-0. The Thunder, the 3rd seed in the West, takes on the 6th seed Mavericks at 7 o'clock on ESPN this evening. Oklahoma City leads that series 2-1. That game 4 is in Dallas tonight. And also tonight, late 9:30 on ESPN, the 4th seeded Clippers in the Western Conference take on the 5th seed Portland Trail Blazers in Portland for Game 3, and the Clippers lead that series 2-0. And looking ahead to Sunday's games, the Spurs and Grizzlies in Game 4, ABC at noon. The Warriors, top seed in the Western Conference, takes on the 8th seeded Rockets in Houston at 2:30 on ABC Sunday. Golden State leads that series 2-1. They lost Game 3 in Houston, and without Steph Curry, once again, Steph Curry is out for Games 2 and 3. They lost Game 3 even after coming back from 17 down. They gained the lead late in the fourth quarter with about two or so minutes to go. Got a 1-point lead and then lost it in the end. James Harden hit a nice bucket at the buzzer to beat the Warriors. So Warriors still up on that series, 2-1. Looks like Stephen Curry will be back for Sunday's game in Game 4 in Houston. Also, the Hawks and the Celtics, 5 o'clock Sunday on TNT, Game 4, and the Cavaliers and Pistons, 7:30 Sunday night on TNT. So that's a look at the NBA scene as we're starting to wrap up the first round. And I tell you, the first round is just, I hate it when they went to 7 games. They had it at 5 games years ago. And, owners want a little bit more money, so throw in a few more games, make them 7-game series in the first round. Just drags it out a little too long, I think. But starting to really get into the competitive series in the conference semifinals starting later on this week. So be looking forward to getting into those series coming up later this week. And that's pretty much all we've got for today, and we appreciate you for tuning in as always. And remember Harry Blackwell Ford and Dodge in Malden, our presenting sponsor for the Roundtable this year, and be sure to keep them in mind for your next automobile purchase, new or used. And we appreciate them for bringing the Sports Roundtable to you this year right here on YHC and online at yhctv.com. SeamoreSportZone.com. So appreciate Harry Blackwell Ford and Dodge in Malden. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, I'm Tyler Wagner. Have yourself a nice week. Take care, everyone.